Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rum Regret podcast. I am Andy Drake.
Johanna Myers.
Nate Tussey, and we drink and we know things.
It is Tuesday, May 10th, and we are going, an extra shot, we are going to talk Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The stars have aligned. We have all seen a brand new movie in the theaters.
Yeah, what the hell?
How did that happen? I have no idea. Special thanks to Gina and Mike for watching Xander, so Jamie and I could go out and catch it. But
Respect.
there is
Special
also
thanks
a special
to
guest.
Archie to let me off work so I can go and see it.
Wait, allegedly, you had a doctor's appointment.
Allegedly, right? Yeah. How's that?
No. That was a joke. I was legit asked. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Respect.
That's
Archie.
great.
Yeah,
We have a special guest on the podcast.
we do. The Scarlet Witch herself, Miss Addy Harper. Why don't you say? There you go.
All right.
You didn't wear
So,
your headpiece.
No, I didn't.
I'll go grab it.
No.
all right. Well, so
Oh,
the first thing I have to ask, my first question is for Addy. During the course of the movie, did you take off your costume?
Yeah, when I first sat down, I took it off because it was super hot.
it was super
Oh,
hot in the
layers.
theater. Yeah, I took mine off too, so it was.
Okay. All
You
right.
guys looked amazing, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It
Maybe
was
that
cool.
should.
People were asking to take pictures with us and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's funny. Maybe that should be the treatment for this.
Oh God, no.
Ooh. I think so.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I'll see what I've got as far as better pictures. Maybe we can make that happen.
Okay. All right. So let's we can just sort of talk about things we liked, things we didn't like, and then after we can give it a score. So Tussey family, I will throw
Yeah.
this to you.
Making us go
and-
first.
Yeah. What did you like? What were some of the things that you liked from this?
Sure. Addy, you want to go first?
No,
you want me to go?
you go
Sure. So I love what they did with Wanda. I love that they let her go off the rails and believe that she was right and justified in all of her carnage.
Okay.
What I didn't like is how quick of a turn that was. I mean, we saw her at the end of WandaVision kind of coming to terms with how she couldn't hold a fake reality together and making sure she wasn't keeping people captive against their will and all that. You could definitely tell that she was going to try to find her kids no matter what it took, but she wasn't like full murderous rampage Wanda at that point.
Right. So and it almost feels like they they last Jedi'd Wanda a little bit.
Oh God, please don't put that crap into my MCU.
But just in terms of not necessarily respecting her arc in WandaVision,
Yeah.
and just sort of throwing her out there. I don't know. Did you?
So-
I mean, obviously you felt that way. Go ahead, Joe.
I heard a rumor about this of I don't know how true this is, but I saw on the interwebs that Sam Raimi didn't actually watch WandaVision.
I wouldn't be surprised, but WandaVision was written after this movie, so there's a lot of disjointedness there, and also Spider-Man Far From Home was supposed to happen after this.
Okay.
So there's a
Oh.
lot-
No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home. Sorry. Thank you. It's supposed to happen after this movie originally. So there's a lot of, and then losing their director halfway through in pandemic and obvious studio rewrites and reshoots with Sam Raimi. And I'm really kind of upset, honestly, because this was supposed to be a horror movie. And there were parts of it that were like, yeah, that's legit. And that
Right.
would have been amazing for the whole movie to be like that. But you could tell that Sam Raimi definitely redid a bunch of this to kind of suit his flavor and his style.
Well,
So-
and so Michael Waldron wrote this movie, right? And he was the guy who wrote Loki, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. If I say so.
Mhm.
So I mean, you can't necessarily blame Raimi at this point, right? Because the writer's the writer and he's going to shoot what he's going to shoot. Now, I did hear that there is going to be a Sam Raimi cut of this movie that exists somewhere.
Interesting. I mean, they did spend tens of millions of dollars on reshoots, so I guarantee you this is a different movie than what it was when Raimi jumped in.
Right. Yeah.
You can tell by the whole movie is kind of a mess. It's kind of disjointed. The first act is super slow. And America Chavez, thank God they got her in there, but her as a damsel in distress is really not according to Geeky Nate across the pond, is definitely not the way her character is supposed to be. But maybe this is more of the quick origin thing with her. What else did I like about that movie?
Yeah.
I loved the Illuminati stuff, the specifics of the Illuminati, like the yellow chair and the X-Men animated series music that played him in.
Right.
Oh, I squeaked so hard at that.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Even his outfit is exactly the same. So yeah, obviously there are mutants in that world and in the MCU now, and then obviously there are Inhumans in the world with Black Bolt being reprised by the same guy. I forgot his name.
Anson Mount, Captain
Thank
Pike.
you. Yeah, Captain Pike. In like his comic book accurate outfit with the
he's got a fork on his head.
Yeah, a fork on his head and armpit wings. This is pretty good. I was really happy to see Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel. So that's just a real cool. That's a what if episode right there. It's like what if?
Yeah, that was a fun nugget.
What if Carol Danvers didn't fly the test flight kind of thing?
Right.
She became Captain Marvel. Mordo I thought was cool. I really enjoyed Mordo's character in the first Doctor Strange. I'd love to see. I want a movie with him or a series with him that shows him like hunting down sorcerers. It's kind of along the Darth Vader thing that I want to see him hunting down the Jedi kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I think that'd be super cool. What else? There's a lot.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter. That's right. That was. Oh, you were looking so forward to Captain Carter. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she got taken out the same way that Cap did in What If? Getting cut
the
in half.
zombie episode.
Yeah, getting cut in half with the shield.
Yeah.
Which is brutal. God, a lot of my mind just keeps getting drawn back to that Illuminati thing because it was so hyped and so just epic.
Well, what?
Their asses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shows you how badass she is.
Yeah.
What about the fan casting come true? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Krasinski as Reed Richards. That was awesome. I'm kind of.
They get turned into a ball of yarn.
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted because if the way that this whole universe and the dreams and jumping into other people's bodies or whatever, which I thought was cool too, if that's canon now, which it looks like it is, that means Krasinski is every version of Mr. Fantastic, and there are rumors that he's going to direct now because they lost their director. So I don't know. We'll see.
So remind me when we give our scores for this movie. I have a larger question for you, sort of about the future of the MCU, but I don't want to derail us right now with that.
Sure. Yeah. The other thing I really loved was the undead Doctor Strange skinwalking part.
Oh,
yeah. That was
Yeah.
super cool. Did you have anything, honey? I pretty much
you
covered the whole movie.
covered everything.
Well, if you think of anything else. Okay.
No, and please interject as we start talking about everything too.
Yeah.
All right. Joe, what did you like about this movie?
This was basically for me like a Sam Raimi. He makes his own Evil Dead Marvel fanfic, and I'm so here for it. I was like,
yeah,
yes, from beginning to end. I'm like, I love this movie. It was so much fun. And shit, I have notes. yeah, the Sam Raimi Evil Dead Marvel crossover fanfic. Of course, Bruce Campbell shows up.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And his left hand, which was the same hand in Evil Dead.
Specific hand.
Right.
And then she turned Reed Richards into yarn. That was fun.
Yeah.
The whole when she what's the dude's name with the fork on his head?
Black Bolt.
Yeah, she's like, what if you can't talk? And I totally thought of the Matrix. Like,
oh yeah,
what if you're unable to speak?
Yeah.
I
pops his own head. That was amazing.
Yeah, that whole part of it I thought was like that. Just that visual right there of the concave skull coming in, just like.
He couldn't talk, so he blew his own brains out through his mouth.
Yeah.
So on the Reed Richards front, I have to say, Rahul Kohli should have been Reed Richards because I'm
casting.
Kind of obsessed.
Yeah, a little
Professor X, like the old school X-Men music.
No.
Like I had to sit on my hands to not be in the theater because I'm in a theater of like 4 people, and
Yeah.
I'm like by myself, just like.
It should have been clapping the whole time.
And then when she offed him, I'm like, you just killed your dad's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. And the way that she offed him too was amazing.
Oh,
You got the whole like, I'm gonna project myself into her mind and save her, and then
and still with like same with the whole Raimi vibe of it, of like just the quick like flash of her eyes and just done.
Yeah.
Like Raimi's all over this. I love it.
Yeah, well, that's his wheelhouse. I mean, really, that.
Yeah, like I said,
just,
this is an Evil Dead movie disguised as a Marvel movie.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, guys, but I love you in every universe trumps I love you 3000. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't trump that moment, but it is a larger version of I Love You 3000.
The music fight scene. Yay, Danny Elfman got his music fight scene because I guarantee that was all him.
Oh, yeah.
Musical note.
Yep.
And let's see. The Demon Cape, total Army of Darkness.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, the whole ending was like textbook Raimi, just, like everything's done, and then all of a sudden,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. Obviously.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So things I liked about the movie. I really liked America Chavez once she sort of came into her own towards the end. I just thought I did think it took a little, to your point, Nate, it took a little longer to get her there than it should have.
Right.
But again, I thought she was a cool character. I have some issues with the story that I'll bring up in the things that we didn't like or didn't understand. But I love the beginning battle at Carmitage. I thought that was fun visually and everything. Although I did find it a little funny, the sort of the over dependency on conventional weapons at Carmitage.
Right. No shit. Right?
Yeah.
Like arrows and cannonballs and like how.
You guys have magic. Like,
Yeah,
I know.
Where are the otherworldly tentacles and fireballs and lightning storms and
exactly like Wanda's summoning demons? Why can't you guys?
Right.
I feel like all the magic in this movie was shielding for them. It was just put up the shields, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Take some cues from Shang-Chi. They had some pretty crazy cool magic and some crazy cool beasties. Like just pull some of those into that world. Like that'd be super easy.
Right. Yeah. And I'm still I'm still a little mad that they don't do more with the portals when they're fighting bad people.
Right?
Like open one behind her and push her through. It's like
like Rick and Morty, man. Come on.
Infinity War, where he cuts the guy's hand off after he portals him to like Nepal or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that I did like that sequence. And of course the Illuminati sequence I thought was great. I did love I don't necessarily like Rachel McAdams like as her stuff, but her version of Christine Palmer and where she's the scientist, I thought was great. I thought it gave her a lot, like it made her a more interesting character than just basically the female equivalent of Dr. Stephen Strange, right?
She gave me what's her bucket in Jurassic World.
Oh yeah,
those vibes. Oh god, I'm fired. What's her name?
Laura Dern?
No, the redhead.
Chastain.
Yeah. No.
It's Chastain, right?
No. It's Bryce Dallas Howard as what's her bucket?
Oh right. Yeah. Okay. But I know what you're getting at.
But her vibe. So like I kind of got that from her in this movie. It's
Yeah, Right. Yeah. Although, and even though the extra credit scene sort of it hinted towards Doctor Strange's future here,
Mhm.
they did sort of leave it open for them to continue. So I don't like, who knows where Doctor Strange is going to get pulled, unless Doctor Strange 4 is some weird love triangle.
Well, that character that shows up at the end is his girlfriend in the comics, and they get married.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm getting at too, is that
Yeah.
they sort of teased the, hey, let's grab coffee across the universe sometime, across the multiverse
Right.
sometime. And
Yeah.
then he meets Clea. And so I thought that was, but again, her character in the alternate universe is way better than her character in, although I did love the wedding sequence in the beginning as well.
Yeah.
When,
that was funny.
yeah, and he couldn't gotten, so excited that the one-eyed monster shows up because he get out of that wedding and actually do some cool stuff.
And she's just like, oh fuck.
Right.
Like, of course you're gonna fuck up my wedding.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then I didn't realize how rich that one sequence was, but when America Chavez grabs Doctor Strange and they start shooting across the multiverse.
Yeah. Crazy.
Charlie from Emergency Awesome breaks down each
Everyone.
universe that they go in. And that alone is worth the watch of his review of Doctor Strange. It was really cool to see the attention to detail they went through in not just giving us sort of these random alternate versions, but they did put a lot of thought into what you saw in the background as they were shooting through these things. And then Wong in general, I love Wong as a character. I love that he's become sort of the new like Nick Fury in a way.
Yeah, he's the Sorcerer Supreme, so he gets access to the new books and all that.
Right. Yeah, so he's showing up everywhere, and I just love Benedict Wong as an actor, and I just think he's like great in this role. So I love his part, and just when he shows up on screen, you just know things are going to be cool. So yeah, that's there were let's shoot into what was weird and sort of what we didn't like. Ugh. Addy, do you want to go first?
Is there anything you didn't like that you can think of?
I don't think there is anything because I loved that movie.
Yeah,
so
and you were a super fan before that, and kind of yeah. So that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, that tracks.
That makes sense. Yeah, a lot. This story was all over the place. There's a lot of why this and why this now, and wait a minute, what's happening here, and okay, that's cool, but I don't get the choice. And it's another one of the, like, if I wasn't over analyzing it so much, I'd enjoy it way more.
Right.
And the problem is that I had such high expectations of this movie coming off of of Spider-Man No Way Home,
right,
which was just a phenomenal movie. This is really like middling tier Marvel, in my opinion. The story, if it wasn't a Marvel movie, amazing. Like, a lot of the stuff would be great in general, but I don't know. A lot of it kind of just came out of nowhere, which it's supposed to be because it's Multiverse of Madness, but really didn't have any setup, so that their payoffs were really kind of like ephemeral and kind of just floated away real quick.
Sure.
I did love all the Raimi stuff. Thank you, Joe, for pointing a lot of that out. That I loved seeing Bruce Campbell and trying to explain to Addy mid-movie like who Bruce Campbell was.
Oh man, there were people in our theater, right, at the end credit scene, where, oh god, what's his name? Who is that guy? And Jamie and I just turn around like in unison, Bruce Campbell. And we're like, oh yeah, what was he in? And we're just like,
oh my god. Kids today, I tell you.
I know, right? And so it was really funny. Yeah,
they should have had him trying to say the words or something to stop like looking in his notebook to try and stop the fist, like
right. Oh yeah,
nectar, nickel.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So mainly, my only complaints were really kind of the pacing and the way the story was put together. like I said, I guarantee you this suffered from director switch and pandemic and all that, and rewrites and studio meddling and all that. But
Right.
yeah, I think that's really my only complaint. The rest of the movie, I loved what they did with Wanda. I think a lot of people were complaining about that, frankly, and it's just weird. Like, why did they make her, this crazy person or whatever? Like, if you've actually read any of her source material, this is like easy street compared to what she has done in the comic books.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really glad they let her kind of hang out. But other than that, the story for me was just, kind of middling. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Joe, was there anything that you didn't like?
I will say, like, the whole, like, when they're traveling through the multiverse,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that went too quick, and I was like,
yeah,
I want to, like, pause and look through, like, I want them to Rick and Morty it, where you get to see every little
nice.
multiverse.
Spend 2 minutes in each instead of 2 seconds, kind of thing, right?
I'm like, oh wait, there was like a dinosaur and animation, and what was that? I don't have no idea.
That was Mustafar again,
right?
And
so, like, to be honest, that's like my only complaint. Other than that, I thought the movie was fantastic.
Right, and that was the thing for me, is that when it started in with America Chavez and Defender Strange running away from the other demon, right?
Yeah.
I almost feel like we walked into a movie 20 minutes in at that point.
Yeah, exactly right. Yes.
Like I feel like I missed something, right?
Yep.
I think that was kind of the point, though. At least I assumed that was the point.
Now, and that's the thing
executed.
Too. Yeah. Well, and I think that and again, we can blame COVID for this, and we can blame just where sort of everything fell. But I had it in my brain for some reason, because the multiverse was such a big part of Spider-Man No Way Home, that Doctor Strange's spell casting in Spider-Man was what caused the multiverse to mess up, right? And what caused the multiverse to come out in here. But clearly this was, even though we got so much sort of Easter eggy goodness in here and a lot of characters that we've seen before, this was a very sort of self-contained movie and it's so weird that you call a movie Multiverse of Badness, but have it be so contained to two characters, right? To Strange and Wanda.
I feel like this got like marketed wrong. Like, I think a lot of people went into this thinking it was going to be a multiverse movie, where it's just basically a Doctor Strange Wanda horror movie with a little bit of multiverse sprinkled in.
Yeah, which is gonna be part of my discussion post movie scores. And then there was one point where Doctor Strange is talking to America Chavez, and she says, well, at first she says she can only jump when she gets in a heightened state of sort of like of something, right?
So she can't control her.
Yeah, she's a mutant, basically.
Yeah, so she can't control her power yet, but she mentions being in 73 different multiverses, right?
She's stressed out 73 times, basically, is what that means to me.
Well, and then re-stressed out.
I actually buy that.
and has re-stressed out to get back to her, or has she been jumping?
Yeah,
I took it as she's jumping.
She's been jumping the whole time. Yeah, she jumped away from her folks, or she jumped them away and then jumped herself.
And then she jumped herself, and she's been trying to get back ever since.
She's been continually jumping, and can't control it. So that's why she ends up where she is.
She keeps wanting to find her family, and ended up in this whole situation.
Yeah, she
is what I kind of took from that
world, and then they're going after the book, and then that's when we catch up to the movie. That's when the movie starts, which they really should have done more at the beginning. Like, if they had done instead of a flashback scene of her, if they had started with her, the whole thing with her parents, and then spent 10 minutes on her jumping and her aging up and like trying to figure out, so you care so much more about her, and then she ends up and then you have a time jump, and it's her and Defender Strange after he's been mentoring her for a couple years or whatever. That would have made way more sense to me.
Well, I mean, and even if time was a constraint too, you start with her parent scene, and even do 72 universes later.
Yeah, no, for sure, right?
Right?
I mean, anything to set up that opening would have been great.
Right. Yeah. And so I just think, but it just, it seemed like a weird place to start the movie, even though I get that's where they wanted to start it.
Right.
And then, even though I loved I some of the humor didn't necessarily land here. I feel like it came in sort of at the last part to lighten sort of what was going on. Like they, I hate to say it, but they could have DC'd this movie a little bit and left some of the humor out, you know, and made it truly a darker sort of inlet into the Marvel universe. While I love the Illuminati scene, I thought I did think that team, right, after mentioning taking out Thanos, right, and doing everything that they needed to do to take out Thanos, gets obliterated by Wanda, right?
Well, they also had the book and Doctor Strange when they took out Thanos. So
right,
yes, and I get showing how powerful Wanda is and why they did it, but it needed to be more of a fight. Like it needed to be more of a back and forth and them working together and queuing off each other's powers instead of like we're going to attack her one at a time.
But she's going to wipe us out one at a time.
Right. I do have to give points to the people who put together the Darkhold for making copies in every multiverse.
Right?
Shame on you, Book of Fashanti people, for only making one copy. Shame on you guys.
Doesn't it exist in all the universes? Or did they say it was only one copy?
I think they said it was only one copy because it's in that little pocket.
It's in the space between all the multiverses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, that's evil should always win because good is dumb.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Or they don't own a copy machine. It's like, come on, guys. Yeah. Come on.
Can we collate that thing, please, for quick production?
Yeah. Somebody committed to memory, right?
Yeah.
Scribe it on the walls of some ancient tomb, like at least.
Right, of a throne or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I felt that was interesting that, with, that there was a dark book and a light book, several copies of the dark book, one copy of the light book. What else?
So is Wanda dead at this point?
No way. There's no body, there's no death.
Exactly. So that's any good movie nowadays, if you don't see a body, that person is not dead. I think, isn't there
flash of red magic too?
There's a little chaos magic flash. And then while you like what they did with Wanda here, I do feel that because of the storytelling here, and again, Marvel up until COVID was so good, sort of ending one movie and starting another movie where they needed to be, right?
Perfect lead-ins kind of thing. Then that, like if they'd had their perfect lead-in, maybe we wouldn't feel so weird about jumping into that movie, Exactly.
And even though that Ant-Man and the Wasp happened after Infinity War, right? We still got that one end credit scene that told us exactly when this movie took place. Right. So, and I feel that, and again, I'll bring this up after we give our scores, that because of sort of the power shift in Marvel, there's a little less of right hand knowing what the left hand is doing. And there's so much out there right now that they're going to run into any problem of trying to keep everything connected. Whereas before it was just the movies, right? And all you have are the movies. That's all you have. Go one to next. You know what's in production. You know what's in the can. You know what you need to do to connect it. Now you have Disney Plus series. Now you have other movies coming on. You have movies that were scheduled to come out that aren't coming out until such and such. And so you're scrambling to sort of push everything together, and I don't think that the right people are in charge of that anymore.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by the power shift and the right people, because I think as far as I know, it's still the same people, right?
So okay, well let's table that until afterwards.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, okay. So let's give our scores. Yeah. Addy, out of 10, what do you think?
I would give it a 9 out of 5 because the first act
A 9 out of 5. What are we having?
9.5.
Oh my god, that's so
There you
high.
go.
That's
Okay.
so high.
Because the act 1 needed more momentum, like my dad said.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just tiny things overall, but most of it was amazing, and it's one of my favorite movies in Phase 4.
No way. 9.5. Wow. That's very
Okay.
Heck yeah.
All right.
high.
Nate, what's your score?
Mine's a little different.
Different.
This reminds me of the alien abduction skit on SNL. Like, what?
Yeah, right.
Mine was a little different there, Bob.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My score is more like a 7.5, 8-ish. Probably more on the
Okay.
8 side because Addy liked it so much.
Yeah.
It's definitely middling Marvel for me. Even though the high points were so high, there's just a ton of problems with this movie that we talked about, and we haven't actually talked about all of them. But overall, I think it was good. I'll just leave it at that. It was good. It was kind of in the middle, better than average, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Joe, what was your score?
Shoot, my score's like has to be altered now because of Nate's score.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think
Okay.
you would have given that the highest score, but
That highest score,
that highest score,
7.5 or an 8 is not like okay. Go ahead.
I mean, like, it's got problems, but I love it because I'm a horror fan and I'm a Sam Raimi fan. But yeah, I would give it an 8. Given 10 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great point. Maybe I should go lower.
Oh.
I really thought you were going to go lower on this, Nate.
Well, so this is, I mean,
I think the expectations sort of ruined it for Nate.
Yeah.
for sure.
I went into it like I got everything I wanted out of it. I
Yeah.
went into it thinking like, okay, this is going to be a Sam Raimi Marvel film. That's exactly what I got. I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, even listening to our last podcast, Andy says the smart money would be on Nate loving this, but I'm curious to see what you think.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I am the fanboy, so yeah, maybe I need to back up to the 7.57 road that I started on. Anyway, go ahead, Andy.
Okay. I'm gonna put it at a 7. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. While I understand where they went, and I get how Wanda got to where she got to here. She's having nightmares about her kids every night. That's gonna mess anybody up. I get it. I just feel that the turn, well, and again, and the Darkhold corrupts anybody who gets in there too much. So again, her having the nightmares on top of everything, I understand how she got so like full Scarlet Witch and murderous and crazy. Yeah, I just feel like it is a very disjointed jump from where we last saw her at WandaVision. So I just, so that part, it took me a while to get over that part in the movie.
Yeah.
So that definitely a 7 out of 10 because it is just fun to see these characters on screen. And then again, any good multiverse movie, when you jump in and you see different versions of characters that you love and great cameos from actors that you wanted to see as certain characters and then actors who have played characters before that come back for this. It's just that, like, that part of it alone, ups the sort of the fun of the movie and going to see it on the big screen and just making it the event that it is.
Yeah,
So,
the Illuminati for me bumped it up a little bit. I think 7 is exactly right, though, Andy. I'm gonna have to change my. I mean, I said 7.5 originally, and then Addy's over here with her 9.5, and it pulled my curve up. So I'm
Right,
gonna go back
yeah.
to the 7.
Hey, Addy, you stick with your.
Yeah. It was
I mean,
your
it was one of her
9.5.
favorite characters, and she got to dress up like it, and I
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what the headpiece were and all that. I did forget to add Geeky Nate's observations when we were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
what we
yeah.
liked
Let us
and
know
didn't like.
what Geeky Nate said.
Yeah, so Geeky Nate is a guy that I didn't meet. I didn't meet him. He lives in the UK. So there's the superhero thing podcast that we've interacted with on Twitter quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
They took a break and now they're coming back, I think. Really fun podcast, but he follows them, and if you follow them on Twitter, they put out like a poll and then questions for the next podcast. So if you answer, they call you out and
Nice.
like read your stuff on air and then give comments and all that. And so he's a guy who's always commenting on this podcast. That's how I know about him. But he
Okay.
also has a presence on YouTube and Twitter and is basically into the same stuff. And his name's Geeky Nate. So I was like, I reached out to him. Hey, he mentioned on his Twitter feed he was going to go see the movie and do a podcast this week. And I said, hey, we're going to do one at some point here. This was before Joe said that she was going to go see it today. Would you be up for being on the show? And he's like, yeah, totally. That'd be great. We have to figure out the time since I'm 8 hours ahead of you guys, but
Right.
all that. So his quick thoughts. I basically said, I need to see it again. It seemed a bit messy giving all the changes and reshoots. And he said, yeah, that's my feeling as well. It feels like it had a plan, but then it had to be changed after writing on WandaVision and then Loki and also What If. And obviously the Spider-Man Doctor Strange release order swap. After seeing Doctor Strange, it was clear that Spider-Man was meant to be after Strange because now the veil between the multiverses is weaker. Sadly, it felt very middle tier for a Marvel film, and I honestly hated them making Wanda the core villain after WandaVision sort of fixing that, which is Whiplash
Right.
that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think it needed a better mix of writers, as even America Chavez was let down. Damsel in Distress isn't her at all. Anyways, it's 1 a.m. here. I'll draft up my thoughts and send it over.
So where I was getting at beforehand was during an interview, Kevin Feige said that he was upset with how much the trailers showed
Yes.
of this movie beforehand. Now,
100%.
Yeah, I would agree.
it was my understanding that Feige had like full creative control over sort of what was going out and what wasn't going out. After a deeper sort of dive, is he used to have that, right? But now he is in more of a, I guess, overlordy role.
Yeah.
You know, and there are other people making those decisions. And so and this is now with Doctor Strange, now with Fantastic Four, we are getting sort of, and this is starting to make me think of Star Wars in a way. Directors are leaving projects and they're bringing in directors sort of midway.
Right.
And that in turn shows up to be, it basically screws the fans out of decent projects.
100%.
So, like my main concern is that I just hope this isn't a trend. Like, I have a feeling that the Fantastic Four thing is that now that Krasinski agreed to make this cameo, that they bumped the director off to say, hey, you can be Reed Richards and you can direct it,
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess who's going to be Sue Storm?
Yeah, right.
Right. Yep.
I don't think there's I don't think there's any way they did that. We were so excited when we heard, or at least I was, heard about who was going to direct it because he directed Into the Spider-Verse and just completely crushed it.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd love to know why he left and what the details were behind that.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's like that's the one thing I'm worried about, is that I don't want Marvel to fall down the same path that Star Wars have,
right,
with the sequel trilogy, with Solo, with what was the other one that somebody left and someone came in.
Yeah,
anyway,
you don't want too many executives in the kitchen that haven't been cooks before, which is exactly Kevin Feige was the unicorn, as I think Kevin Smith put it this way, the unicorn of all unicorns, where he's been kind of everything and also loves the material and knows it back to front. And that
Exactly.
and now,
Right.
like you were saying, he's so far removed in his Uber executive role that he doesn't have time for the hand holding that he did,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
curating that he did through phase 1, 2, and 3, basically, where he started as a producer or an assistant producer,
Right.
back in the day, and then now he's running the show. Yeah, so I think I agree with what you're saying, and I definitely better not go down that road. That would suck.
Right.
All that work they've done to build the goodwill and everything. I know one of the reasons that Feige is more hands off with the universe overall is because he's working on X-Men right now. That he's running everything around X-Men and that project, and that property. So
Yeah.
Which, thank you.
Yeah, right.
As somebody who loves X-Men,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
that it's in good hands.
Yeah, exactly. But hopefully things don't suffer like Andy is talking about.
Yeah.
So I think I totally agree with what he said, though. This movie revealed way too much. I mean, imagine if nobody had even seen the Illuminati or mentioned it or talked about it or whatever, and then it's just a surprise in the theater. This is a Hulk in Ragnarok situation where if you had
Right.
saved that for the movie, it would have meant so much and been such a huge reveal. Yeah, you kind of shot yourself in the foot. There's no reason to market that at all. It's such an engaging film in general. And then what they did to chop up, apparently there was supposed to be a ton more horror in this, according to the original
Right.
screenwriter and director. So
Well, and there's
Yeah.
a big
Well-
discourse on the internet about like the whole PG-13 versus rated R, where I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is obviously PG-13. Like, if it was rated R, it'd be so much worse.
yeah, for sure.
Release the rated R cut.
Right. Yeah. And I think it would be interesting too if they do release an alternate cut of this movie at any point down the road. Just because that is sort of Marvel saying that, giving us our second clue ending, right, of Doctor Strange and how everything happened. Oh man, the other side of this, and I had a really great thought, and it just totally ran out of my head.
And Nate strikes again. I evaporate Andy's deep thoughts.
Oh man. Oh God, it was there. It was there.
That's okay. I sent my beer retriever.
Oh, oh,
Good girl.
oh, we love you, Addy. We love you. Yeah.
Thank you. Honey.
No,
You're the best.
God, it was such a great thought too.
Wow, better write those down, man. We're getting to that age.
I know, right?
Lord. I have notes for my D&D campaign, like don't forget to do this, like a sticky note on my monitor.
Right. Yeah. Anyway,
You had a big thought you were setting up for after our scores.
no, that was the whole Marvel thing. The whole why Kevin Feige isn't, like why he. Again, I don't want them to take the same path that Star Wars has taken. Again, but Star Wars has sort of course corrected with the Favreau Filoni verse now, right? And them having control over this Disney Plus sort of area of Star Wars, which has been for the most part fantastic.
Yeah, they were rolling until Boba Fett, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're kind of in the same place now that I think about it.
Right. Yeah. So and yeah, maybe they've taken on too much. Who knows? But
Good point.
so anyway,
We haven't talked about Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Well, and so that was a bigger thing too, is that when I saw her come in, I'm just like, this is almost better than what we just watched. Like this is sort of the story that I want to see, right?
I want if her character from the old guard cut through, that would have been cool. Like,
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
She died, but she ended up in the multiverse.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Dormammu's niece, apparently. And that's why you see the dark dimension behind her when she's cutting through the worlds or whatever. They're going to go
Yeah.
save the dark dimension, or it's colliding with another world or another universe, apparently. So
Okay.
I forget the name of the character, but apparently they get married at some point, her and Doctor Strange.
Is it Sela?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Sela. Consult your doctor if it lasts for more than 4 hours.
right.
If that's the right name.
Right. Yeah. Clea.
Clea. There you go. Hey, same letter, different orientation.
Yep. I just had it wrong. Yeah, and so I wonder if this was supposed to take place before Spider-Man.
100%.
Was the third eye in Spider-Man?
No.
And they painted it out?
Well, they don't necessarily have to be there the whole time. And so the third eye actually is a really good point. So the third eye thing is actually supposed to be the Eye of Agamotto.
Right.
It's supposed to signify like you've reached a certain level of power as a sorcerer.
Right.
And especially if you have the eye on. That's literally what it's called. It's called the Eye of Agamotto in the comic books. It's way bigger than the third eye he's got there. So obviously they set that all up because of, the Darkhold corrupts anyone who uses it, and now he's got a third eye, but Wanda doesn't. Like, okay, she's used that way more than he has.
Well, I figure it's like his evil. It's his evil persona, coming through.
Oh,
so Wanda's might not be an eye; it might be something different.
Maybe it's her whispering eye. Inappropriate with children in the room.
Right. Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, I read that as
Addy, if you need help, blink twice.
Oh man.
What were you gonna say, Joe? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I read that as like, okay, he still has like evil Benedict Cumberbatch in him, evil Doctor Strange,
right,
in him, and that's like, eye.
Yeah.
How does that go, Joe? What's the sound effect?
Right.
We got it.
Whenever the eye opens.
We actually rewatched What If, I think before and after, right? And it was
okay.
I forgot how fun that series is. We'll go watch it again if you guys have time for a couple half-hour shows. God damn.
Oh
yeah.
Another fault of mine, I will say, they did Captain Carter should have been way more beefy in this.
Yeah,
like
she did need some like CG shoulders or something, right? Like
not CG shoulders, just get a beefy gal to play the part. Man, I was like,
bring back the chick that was fired from Star Wars and deep fake her head. Gina Carano body.
No, you could find cool beefy chicks that are not Gina Carano.
Yeah, but it's
but it was like
the actress that played Agent Carter be the face at least.
Oh yeah, I mean, but there are several WWE divas out there that could definitely, portray Captain Carter from the neck down.
Claire Max on Twitter, check her out. She can definitely do this.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So next up on the plate is Thor, right? Is that correct?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I posted about that today, and I should know this.
And that was because Nerdist released some graphic of like 3 movies that have dates and then 6 movies that are TBA.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I shared. Bad Nate.
Yeah. Because it's
2022. Yeah, so we've got Thor: Love and Thunder is in July. And then
what's after that?
Well, it says Black Panther is in November, but I don't think this is up to date.
Accurate.
May 1. Oh, that might be right, actually. I know they pushed some stuff.
Wow.
U.S. release date. Yeah, July 8th for Thor, November for Black Panther. Ant-Man and the Wasp is next year in February, then Guardians 3, 5. and then the Marvels. That's right, because that switched with Ant-Man. And then
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is TBA. That could be next year or the year after.
Okay.
And then Untitled Marvel film, November 2023, and then Feb 2024.
Yeah, that's a great tease.
Yeah, right.
All right. So one final question for everybody in the room.
Huh. Yeah.
Is there a cameo that you were hoping for in this but didn't get delivered?
Ooh, great one. Yes, I wanted the legit Doctor Strange from What If to show up with all of his beasties and abilities and all of that melding and craziness. Have the Watcher pull him out of that universe to save whatever. That would have been cool as hell.
Okay. Addy, is there any cameo you wanted but didn't get?
I wanted to see zombie Scarlet Witch.
Oh, Zombie Wanda.
Yes.
It would have been so perfect for a Sam Raimi version.
No, absolutely.
God,
Yeah.
good pull, Ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was
God,
hoping for that as well. Yeah.
Well, especially the way they use her to like thwart the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like Strange could have gated her in or something like that to fight Wanda. Wanda versus Wanda, zombie Wanda.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So Joe, aside from Rahul Cooley as Mr. Fantastic,
No, I got my 2 ones fulfilled. It would have been zombie, or no, not zombie Doctor Strange, evil Doctor Strange,
okay.
What you want?
and Bruce Campbell.
Which you didn't know you wanted, but you wanted.
No,
Right.
When you say Sam Raimi to me, I'm immediately like Bruce Campbell. So I was actually kind of waiting for him in this movie. When it happened, I was like, yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when Bruce Campbell will show up
Right.
in a Sam Raimi movie.
The after the second
Post-credit scene.
Post-credit scene, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
they
That was
paid
very
it
good.
off.
It would have
Yeah.
been cool to see some form of Ultimate Iron Man, because apparently the rumor that people wanted Tom Cruise. Apparently they wanted Tom Cruise also for that,
Right.
which would have been
Yeah.
interesting. I'm not sure how I would have felt about that, given all his proclivities, but that would have been cool to see too.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say any sort of interesting Iron Man variant portrayed by any other actor.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought would have been fun to see.
Yeah.
Although I thought it would be funny too if Deadpool showed up at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
Breaking the fourth wall.
But played by Hugh Jackman. I would have loved that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wolverine, though. Wait a minute. That's a great pull, though. If they showed Professor X,
right.
damn it,
Yeah.
give me Wolverine or any other X-Man. Good lord.
Right.
Or woman.
Yeah.
Or woman, or Magneto. Fuck, Magneto would have been perfect for the Illuminati.
That's true. Yeah. Although any chance to
set
put
up Wanda against her dad.
Good point.
I would have loved to see a Wanda Phoenix showdown. Get Famke back in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who would win? Who would win?
The unhinged females of the Marvel universe. Come on.
Between Phoenix and Wanda, who would win?
I mean, Phoenix is my initial gut maneuver, but I don't know. That's a tough one. No, because Wanda can warp reality.
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix is Phoenix is the strongest creature in the reality it's in. So I'm not sure what the rules are about reality bending with that creature. So
okay, I'm gonna put this out there to Twitter, to our over 1,600 followers on Twitter. Woohoo! Let's see who would win in a multiversal showdown between Wanda and Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
Dark Phoenix.
Sure.
Phoenix,
way more powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So
I
okay.
want Dark Phoenix to win. I'm gonna throw
I know,
it out
right?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if Wanda can just alter the universe as she sees fit on a whim, that wow,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
tough.
but if she's under a hump of rubble, which she can't very well alter.
What rubble? It's butterflies.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
The last time we saw her, she was under a bunch of the whole thing of.
Right.
So we know.
Yeah, that
Like-
would have
So
been
we know.
a shitty way to let that character go out. We know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one other problem that I just thought of with the movie is that if you're anybody who's not Wanda in that end sequence and you have magic, how do you not shoo away the rubble to make sure that she's gone?
Yeah, fair point. Right.
Okay, yeah. Confirm kill. Confirm
Exactly.
kill.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think that was the whole point, though, is confirming the kill. I think that her point was she was destroying all of the dark holds across the multiverse and the source.
Yeah.
She could have done that from outside of the building. Like, it's not
Right. And
Well, they just assume that's what she's doing. Is she's
Right.
like, I'm tearing it all down.
Yeah.
But
If
she
you're
might
guarding-
have left a little hole, a little scapegoat.
Of course she did.
honestly, and two, if you're guarding all of the sort of, if you're the dark magic elements of your universe, no matter what state Scarlet Witch is in, don't you want to contain that? How great of a post-credit scene would that have been if you're looking in the depths of the New York Sanctum and you see
She's in
like rotting Wanda, right? But then you get just a little glimmer of life and then it goes to black.
Yeah, or you see her in that like crystal enclosure from What If that Strange uses to contain the universe that's about to
Oh,
explode.
yeah.
What were you thinking of?
That's how you get zombie Wanda.
That's how you get zombie Wanda. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, shit.
Right.
We're rewriting this movie only better. Good job.
I like where we're going with it. I love where we're
Yeah,
going
right?
with it.
Good sash.
Yeah. Final thoughts, guys?
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts? No, everything that's been said has been said.
If somebody asked you if you should go see the movie, what would you say?
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said, it's my Sam Raimi version of a Marvel horror movie. I love it.
Excellent. Yeah, same here. What did you guys think of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Let us know on Twitter. You can find us at Rum_Regret. You can find us on Facebook at the Rum and Regret Podcast. Nate, where can they find you?
Sure, Avid Gamer, AV1D Gamer on all your gaming platforms and social networks of choice.
Nice. Joe, where can they find you?
At Joe Chickadee at all the socials or joechickadee.com.
And Addy, I would ask you, but you know what? I'm not going to give out
She
a
is
young
not
girl's
allowed
social-
to have social media.
Okay, all right. So that has been settled. You can find me on Crazy Drake at Facebook, at Andrew Drake on Twitter, and until the next time, we have spoken.
You're the Diet Coke of evil, Wanda. Not evil enough.